What's up, everybody? Tsunami Mats here, and so I just wanted to do some test hands because the last video I made with this deck, it didn't really showcase the full power of like having extenders. I was mostly just showing one card combos. So now I can actually show the deck in action. So yeah, let's get into it. So this is just a random hand I drew. This actually isn't the greatest hand, but you do have most of your engine up. So actually, I'm thinking, what would we do first here? I think the first thing we do is I just activate Salvation effect. Unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to get into Verte with this hand. It's not the best one. You can get your Dynamiscus or your Dark Magical Circle send, but I'd probably just get Salvation out of the way. You're gonna get a Souls draw. Nadir Servant effect. We're gonna send. We'll send App Cologne to grave, and then we'll add our. Probably not Ecclesia. Maybe Ecclesia. So actually, we probably can't send Ecclesia. We probably can't. No. So we want to get into Maximus actually. So we wouldn't want to send App Cologne. We'd actually just send a blank. I would probably say for this one, Celine might actually come up. So, you could go Punishment for... Honestly, yeah, I would probably just send Celine to grave. And then I would just add Maximus to hand. So add Maximus to hand, because you need a card to banish off Maximus, and I do want to get into the Dark Magician engine as soon as possible. And also, whether you add Ecclesia or whether you add Ecclesia or Maximus, it'll always make your Fleur-de-Lis live. But so yeah, so I'll on the Dear Servant, I'll add Maximus. I special the Maximus, banishing the Celine. Now I'll send App Cologne, because unfortunately there's not enough extra deck space to be able to main the construct, or to be able to run the construct at all, because extra deck is very, very tight. You're running a 6-card synchro engine, or 7-card synchro engine, not including the second Arclight, and then you're running 4 Dogmatika cards. You're running Verte and Dragoon, and then you're running the Artemis, because it is very, very useful. So Maximus, you'd send App Cologne and Herald of the Arclight. So App Cologne Chainlink 1, Herald Chainlink 2. You add your Illusion of Chaos to hand. And then you gotta pitch a card to the graveyard. Oh, and you add Schism. And you pitch a card to graves. You pitch your Dark Magician. You just activate. Yeah. What do we add? So Soul Servant. You could normal summon the Rod. Would you even want to get Rod? No, I don't think you'd want to get Rod in this situation. I would just reveal, put it on the top of the deck, add that to hand. Add Souls to hand off of the Illusion of Chaos effect. Special summon your Souls. Send your Palladium Oracle mana to grave, just to set up for next turn. And then activate your Dark Magical Circle. Rearrange your cards depending on which one you want. You're gonna just want to draw your. You don't want to draw your Red Eyes Fusion. You could, honestly. Setting up for next turn isn't so bad, but then you just send this, draw that card. You set your Schism, and now you have a Fleur-de-Lis. You have follow-up for next turn, which you wouldn't have 100% have. The deck was shuffled. It just so happened to be on top. So you have a Fleur-de-Lis negate, you have Eternal Soul with a banish, because you have Dark Magician and grave, and you have a Shadal Schism, which you can just banish your souls off the field instead of, because you don't have a dark in grave, you need to have a dark, so you just use your souls as your dark. So that board isn't bad with the hand that we got. It isn't terrible. We weren't able to go into our Rordon combo, but it just depends on what your hand ends up being, is what you end up building your board as. So this hand is actually pretty insane. So even if your Diviner gets stopped, you have Preparation of Rites to add Illusion of Chaos. The only scary thing would be if they were to ash your Illusion of Chaos. But I don't really think people would be ashing Illusion of Chaos, especially people who just don't know how this deck plays. So you normal summon Diviner, send your Arclight to grave, Arclight effect, add your Illusion of Chaos to hand, reveal it. Now you want to put your Red Eyes Fusion to the top of the deck, because it really isn't very good. So we're going to add our souls to hand, put Red Eyes Fusion to the top of the deck, special summon souls effect. In this case, since we aren't going into Eternal Soul or Dark Magical Circle, we would just send Palladium Oracle Mana to grave. Just because... Or you could make a case of sending Maximus, but really there isn't much of a point of sending Maximus. I would just send Palladium Oracle Mana. So this way, like, you can just discard your Preparation of Rites, because you don't need a second copy. Right? You put your Red Eyes Fusion back. So now we'll just get this to grave and draw a card. Oh, wow, that's insane. Drawing the Dear Servant is nuts. Link into Crystron. Halki-Fibrex. Effect. Special your Deskbot 1. Now you link away into Auroradon. Auroradon effect, generate 3 tokens. Deskbot 1 is going to trigger in the graveyard. You link away. This is actually going to make the insane board. So also, if either Needle Fiber or Auroradon gets stopped, you can special summon your Ecclesia, not use its effect, because we drew into the Dear Servant, which is insane. You can choose. It really, like, you pick your poison. You can either special Ecclesia, make Dragoon, and not use its effect to add a Dogmatika card, or you can special Ecclesia and just add Punishment or add Maximus or add whatever you need to add to, like, get into your engine. But at this point, there's not much of a point in get. No, you could Ecclesia, add Maximus, send Apcalone, and send Titaniclad. So what you do is there's 2 lines of play that you could do, depending on the deck that you're going to be playing against. You can either make Dragoon, if you didn't draw then a Dear Servant, or if you did draw then a Dear Servant, you can make Dragoon, or you can add Maximus and then get into the Window-Lock and get into a Fleur-de-Lis. So you'd send this and you'd send this. But yeah, so you'd make Cupid Pitch with the token and the Deskbot 1. Cupid Pitch is level 5 because it's a mandatory effect to increase or decrease its level. Auroradon effect to summon Cult Wing out of the deck. The one risk you do have of drawing off souls is that you could possibly draw in a Cult Wing, which would actually make this whole combo like unplayable. But then if you draw Cult Wing, you just go for Dragoon. It kind of sucks, but it's fine. So Cult Wing effect is going to trigger, summoning 2 tokens. Another cheeky thing is you end on Baroness de Fleur, and your Cult Wing is actually in grave. So you can actually Baroness, put itself back, special Cult Wing, summon 2 tokens, which is actually really explosive for the next turn. But Deskbot 1 is going to trigger after you summon the 2 tokens. Now we use a token and Cupid Pitch. We make Borreload Savage. So we Cupid Pitch Chainlink 1, Savage Chainlink 2. You could also play around Relinquish Anima by putting the Borreload Savage like here in the middle. So we're going to add a Creation Resonator to hand. You go special your Creation Resonator. Synchro. So this gains the level of all the Mecha Beast tokens. So these are all level 3 tokens. And this is level 7 because it's a level 4 plus a level 3. So we can Synchro into Baroness. And then we Synchro into Arclight. Now we can activate the Dear Servant. First we send the Apcalone to grave. And then we add our question is, do you want to add Maximus or not? That is the question. Yeah, we could just add Maximus to hand. Next turn, we're going to add another Illusion of Chaos because the Arclight's going to go to grave. So we could just ditch Illusion of Chaos for it. So yeah, let's do that. Let's just add Maximus to hand. Resolution. Apkloon's going to trigger. You're going to add your Schism to hand. You have Souls in grave already. You could get rid of Ecclesia. I don't really see a reason to need to get rid of Ecclesia. I would probably just pitch Diviner because it's not very useful right now. But yeah, this can actually send Entis later on because it triggers on normal or special summon. So you pitch whatever you need to pitch, but Diviner's just a blank. Illusion of Chaos is still good. You can add your Maximus. Honestly, you probably don't need to. You could add like Maximus's follow-up. So then special summon, effect, add punishment. And then just set. And you have a window lock along with a pop. If they Dark Ruler you, I guess. Along with 3 negates. And then follow up as well. So you follow up with your Dark Magician engine, and you have Maximus as well. Maximus can just send an Entis pop and a Titanic Lad, and it can be just very strong. Or you could have added Fleur-de-Lis as well. So this is the best board you can make, one of the best boards. And then we'll do one more test hand. It's pretty strong. It's like 5 interruptions. So this hand is definitely very interesting. Very, very interesting hand. So let's see. Probably reveal Illusion of Chaos. I would add Souls to hands. I'd put back the Red Eyes Black Dragon because what I might actually do is go for I might go for Dragoon. So Effective Souls. Send Oracle Mana because you can actually use... Dark Magician isn't useful right now because you don't have Eternal Soul or Dark Magical Circle. So it's just simply not useful. So I would just send Palladium Oracle Mana. I would use Souls just to dig. Because you can add Schism back from grave with Apclone. So just draw one. That's insane. You draw Soul Servant. That's nuts. So, okay. So then now we activate Soul Servant. We'll put Rod to the top of the deck. Draw one by banishing. Normal summon Rod effect. I'd probably add Salvation. Or another copy of Soul Servant. Either or. But you're going to get Rod back next turn. So it's fine. And you have Illusion of Chaos as your backup plan. So, yeah, Soul Servant doesn't really do much. It won't put your Rod back. You're only running a copy of Rod in this deck, so I would just add Magician's Salvation. Yeah. So you Magician's Salvation, you activate the Salvation, you set your Eternal Soul, you link one into Artemis. This is unfortunately one of the plays that doesn't play around Nibiru. But it's still fine. So like if you do want to play around Nibiru, you don't make the Artemis here. But it's still okay. So you special your Maximus by banishing your Artemis. Then you go Verte Anaconda. You send your Red Eyes Fusion to grave, and then you send Dark Magician, Red Eyes Black Dragon. Special summon your Dragoon, and then you use Maximus effect. Sending Apclone and sending Titanic Clad. So now you can do Apclone Chainlink 1, Titanic Clad, just Apclone. Oh, add Schism back from grave. And you just pitch your Illusion of Chaos. Or you can actually send, if you don't care for a Fleur-de-Lis at the end phase, you can just send the Herald of Arclight, so you add your Illusion of Chaos back. So instead of sending Titanic Cloud, you would send Illusion of Chaos. But at this point, I think you're safe because you're going to be able to add the Rod back next turn by tributing the Maximus on field. So you're still fine. But when you activate Chism, you just tribute the Maximus. Or if the Maximus lives, you can add an Illusion of Chaos. So you set this card. At the end phase, you add your Fleur-de-Lis to hand. And this is your end board, which isn't too shabby. You can Dragoon negate something. You have follow-up in the form of Maximus. You have a Fleur-de-Lis, you have a Monster negate, you have an Omni negate, and you have Windalock. So not too shabby for such a strange hand. Your top deck was very, very good, though. And we'll do one more. Okay, so this hand is pretty good, actually. Very, very good. So this hand actually, like, so the previous hand was pretty bad. You do lose to a lot of hand traps in that hand. So this hand does not lose to a lot of hand traps. Nib is a potential, but you're going to draw 2. So if they don't stop this, like 2 hand traps could stop you, but if they only have 1 hand trap, it's pretty tough. They have to know the contents of your hand. Diviner Effect. Send Herald of the Arclight to grave. Effective Arclight. Add a ritual monster. So you add your Illusion of Chaos. Activate your Illusion of Chaos. Right. Add your souls. And you're going to be able to dig 2 cards into your deck. So now your Illusion of Chaos is going to put your Oracle mana back into the deck because you can't really use it right now. So then you special your souls. Souls effect. You'll send the Oracle mana, because if it gets negated, then you can just special it back. It just floats. So Soul's Effect, you want to just dig for like a Nadir Servant. You want to dig for your Nadir Servant, so you're just going to ditch 2 cards. Draw 2. Okay, so now you have backup plays. Maximus is your backup play here. So Nadir Servant or Maximus are both very, very good. So you link 2. You already have Arclight engraved, so you can always summon Maximus. You're not worried about not being able to summon Maximus. And if Needle Fiber gets stopped, if they wait for this, you just special your Fleur-de-Lis and then make Dragoon. So you special your Fleur-de-Lis, make Verte, and then special your Maximus before you use Verte's effect. So like, let's say they Veiler this, or they Veiler Auroradon, really doesn't matter. You special, link 2 into Dragoon, and then you special your Verte by banishing your Arclight, and then you just summon Dragoon, and then you use Maximus effect. But let's just say they don't. So that's there. Fleur-de-Lis is in hand, right? And so Fiber effect, you will summon out your Despot 1, wherever it is. You'll do your Auroradon combo. And you got to remember that you can always add your Schism back from grave, so that is really good. Whenever you hard draw Schism and Souls, you always send the Schism to grave because you can just add it back later and see what you can dig through your deck to get advantage. So now you do Auroradon. Auroradon effect, generate 3 tokens. This is pretty self-explanatory. It's exactly the same as the last combo, so I won't explain it as in-depth this time. Cupid Pitch. It's going to be level 5. Remove the 2 tokens. Summon out the Cult Wing. Cult Wing effect, generate the 2 tokens. Trigger the Despot 1. Token and Cupid Pitch for Savage Dragon. Savage 2, Pitch 1. Or no, Savage, yeah. Cupid Pitch, Chainlink 1, Savage Dragon, Chainlink 2. So now you special your creation. Use Creation and Cult Wing to make your Baroness de Fleur. You gotta always remember this has a float effect too. On the standby phase, you can Monster Reborn. So it is very strong. So this can bring Winda back. This can bring Scythe back if you run that build, where you can Shooting Rise or send Scythe. And this can bring Diviner back. So say they somehow negate this. This can actually bring Diviner back to add you another copy. This can bring Herald of the Arclight back. This can bring anything back. So it's really, really good. There's nothing in your deck that's level 9 or level 10 or above. So this can literally bring every card back. It can even bring Maximus back. So it's just, the Reborn effect is really crazy. So, so yeah, you set up your 3 negates, special summon your Maximus by banishing your Herald. And if you get nibbed, you do the same thing. You just special summon Maximus because you'll have a bunch of extra deck monsters in grave. But summon your Maximus. So now you end up sending your App Cologne and Titanic Lad. You're just going to add Ecclesia on the end phase because you already have the Fleur-de-Lis. So your App Cologne is going to do... App Cologne will add your Schism. Schism is in grave. And then you're going to get rid of your Illusion of Chaos. You're going to set. And then your end phase, you're going to add Ecclesia. So now for follow-up, you have a Dogmatika Punishment in hand. You have a Fleur-de-Lis. You have a Winda. So you have Fleur-de-Lis, Winda. This is going to leave the field. You're going to add another copy of Illusion of Chaos when this goes. So this is the end board, right? You have Schism, Dogmatika, Fleur-de-Lis, Effect Veiler, Baroness de Fleur, Borlode Savage, Herald of the Arclight, and you have a Maximus potentially for follow-up. But honestly, the Maximus is not that overwhelming because you don't really have much in your extra deck. You just have a copy Ventus. So this is going to leave the field. Effect of that card. It's going to add another copy of Illusion of Chaos. Your Schism will summon... you'll banish. Schism's going to summon your Winda. You can send a Dark to the graveyard. Your Savage Dragon's going to negate something. Your Baron's going to negate something. You're going to use your Ecclesia, your Fleur-de-Lis on their turn to negate a monster. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 interruptions. It's... I don't think any deck in the game can play through that, to be honest with you. And then, you know, you draw for turn. Next turn, your Baron can bounce back to the extra deck, and you can summon your Arclight back, or you can summon your Cupid Pitch back, depending on what you want to make. You can make this again. And overall, it's pretty strong. So these are like the end boards that you can end on. I just wanted to show you guys some end boards with test hands, because the previous combo video just makes it look very underwhelming because they're all one-card combos. But if you have any sort of extenders, you can extend way past that, and you can play through a lot of hand traps with this deck. There's a couple of changes I did make with this deck. Mainly the fact that I added droplets into the main deck. So I ended up cutting a copy of Illusion of Chaos. Access code is a consideration, but a lot of the times it's really just build a board. So you're just trying to build a board, and Selene can just act as an extender sometimes. So I don't necessarily think access code is that necessary, but it is nice to have. So these are like the two, I think with more testing, I'll really determine which card comes up more. But I cut Illusion of Chaos down to 2 because I don't think you need 3. I think pre-prep is better to draw than Illusion of Chaos, because if you were to get drolled, you're probably not that in that great of a spot anyways if you hard draw the Illusion of Chaos. So most of the time you have 8 copies of it. You have 3. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 copies of Souls, basically. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tuners in your deck, not including this. Creation Resonator is not really a brick because you can also use it to set up the combo. The only thing is you end on 2 negates rather than 3. So drawing Creation Resonator is not the worst thing in the world. The only 2 cards that you really don't want to draw are Despot 1 and Cult Wing, because if you draw Despot 1, you can't do the combo, but you can go into Selene. Droplets in the deck, if you go first and it's not that good, you can, if your hand is really bad and you have Souls, you can just ditch it with Souls and just draw. But I think Droplets is just a really good card in general. And this deck has a lot of problems playing second. So the droplets is just insanely good. You can just Diviner, send Entis. If they try to imperm the Diviner, you just droplet, send it away, negate something. I think it's just like a really good card. Or you can do like Nadir Servant, chain droplets, Soul Servant, chain droplets, get rid of your spell traps, and just negate some of their cards on the board. And you can just play into their... It's just a very versatile card. You can just play into their board very easily. The hand traps are nice. They're really just there for you to dig with a Dark Magical Circle. I mean, they're also good for stopping your opponent, and they're also starters. So I think hand traps in this deck are just very, very good. But the droplets are there to play second. This deck is mainly built for going first, but the droplets are just there. Very, very versatile, very useful. 2 Dark Magician, but that's really the only change that we've made. Just the 2 Illusion of Chaoses. And then we added 3 copies of droplets, and we cut the hand trap lineup down so that we only have 7. So 7 starters, 11 copies of souls. And then like Rod can also be a starter. So Rod Souls is also a starter. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope going forward people can theorize more Dark Magician theory to hopefully make the deck a little more competitive. Every deck needs to run its engines. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys do playtest the deck, because I think the deck has some potential. So yeah, good luck.